on the Vandal Sports Network, a property of Learfield Sports. Live from D. Willie's in Moscow, this is the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino Radio Show. U.S. Bank, we team together to support our customers and communities. Welcome to a full hour of Vandal football talk with the head coach of the Vandals, an inside look at this weekend's game, and player interviews. Tonight's U.S. Bank Paul Petrino Radio Show is presented by Bud Light and Watkins Distributing, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Are you up for whatever? The Vandal Store, your home for specially priced game day t-shirts. And by Coulter's Creek Winery. Visit coulterscreek.com. Now, live from D. Willie's in Moscow, here is Vandals head football coach Paul Petrino and your host, Dennis Patchen.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino Radio Show, live from D. Willie's in downtown Moscow. Glad that those of you who are making some noise are here with us tonight, and glad those of you listening to us on the Idaho Vandal Radio Network are with us. I am very excited to be taking over from the longtime voice of the Idaho Vandals, Tom Morris, who is sitting about 8 feet at me, so if I do something wrong, he'll fire something at me here tonight. So, Paul Petrino joining us. You ready for another season? Well, first of all, I'm excited to be here with you. Are you ready for another season?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think our kids have put in a ton of hard work, really have paid the price, preparing the way you should prepare, and I think they're very confident. You know, we always talk about preparation is what breeds confidence, and our guys have prepared very hard, and really I just can't wait to watch them play. I think they're going to play very, very hard, and they're going to execute well, and I can't wait for the game to come.
You spent all the spring football working. You spent a lot of fall camp working. 30 practices, I think, is the final number. I mean, that's a long time between last game and November. Is it? I know you'd like to practice more, but is it time to figure out where your guys are and, so to speak, turn them loose?
No question. We're ready. You know, it's time to play a game. I think it's really exciting to have a game on Thursday night, you know, to have a game Thursday night in the Dome at home. That's very exciting. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. I think it's, it's cancer awareness, with Jace Malik going to be there and do the opening coin toss. And then, we're also honoring Mark Vaught. At halftime, his wife, Bailey, is going to give out an award for, the scholarship that we put in his name. So there's just a lot of great things that are going to be going on that night. And our players are fired up now. As good of, 3 to 4 back-to-back practices with excitement and enthusiasm and by far that we've had since I've been here, and I just look forward to play really well.
I want to get into the Jace Malik, Mark Vaught thing a little bit later on in the show, but I want to talk about your football team. When you play on Thursday, the week is completely messed up because coach. So what is today? Today is
Wednesday.
Okay.
Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is perfect Thursday.
Okay.
My little girl Ava woke up this morning and was telling her, my wife told me on the phone that she woke up and kept telling her sister Amory, "It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday." And she's like, "No, Ava, it's Monday. No, it's Wednesday. Tomorrow is perfect Thursday."
Good for her. Good for her. With it being the first game, there really isn't any adjustment of having to worry about a short week or extra practices. I mean, next week you're going to have 2 extra days to prepare,
right.
but if you're going to play an odd day, I would think week 1 would be the best day to do it, or best week to do it.
It is a great time to do it, and it's, I think midweek games are awesome. They really help in recruiting. They help everybody getting out there because the high school kids are at home. They're going to be watching it on TV, Everybody can turn on ESPN3 and see us play, and I just think it's great. I'm very excited about it.
Also joining us later in the program will be Quentin Bradley, the senior defensive lineman, 3-year letterman will be here, and also Dallas Sandberg. You'll get to meet those two gentlemen. Dallas is also a senior. Guys who have been around this program for a long time, guys getting ready to play their final years. And we'll get Coach Petrino's thoughts on those guys, and you'll hear from them a little bit about football, but also what we're going to try and do with the players we bring in here is find out just a little bit about these gentlemen and a little bit behind the football player, if you will. You played Ohio a year ago.
Yes.
Okay, so you're and it's not a conference game, but it's a game that you have some familiarity. Does that make it easier, harder? Most of their guys are back. Is the preparation for this game easier because you played them a year ago?
I think it helps. I think it definitely helps because you have played against them. You know a lot of the things that they did to you last time you played them. Both teams have a lot of guys back. I saw where they were picked second in their conference. You know, their head coach is a real good coach. He's always done a good job. I think they got 3 real good linebackers, a good end that comes off the edge. Offensively, they're physical. But our guys are fired up. Our guys are confident. So I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to come down, you know, probably to the fourth quarter, and then we're going to prevail because we want it more.
You talked about confidence. You've mentioned that word a couple of times. You can teach guys how to play football. How do you teach them to be confident?
I think it's by their preparation. I think the more they prepare and the more they see themselves having success in practice every day, the more they really feel comfortable about understanding what their assignments are and what the game plan is. Then they can go out and they can just play. We always talk about effort habit. If you do it over and over and over again in practice, then it'll just happen in the game. But I think our guys are very confident right now. I think they know how much better they're playing right now in practice and how much, you know, more they can execute, and I definitely feel like they're going to be confident.
You have key guys on both sides of the football. 2 of those guys we'll talk to, but there are others that are back from last year, and Ohio's in the same boat, a lot of guys last year. If you've got a lot of guys coming back or a lot of upperclassmen, because some of your guys are junior JC guys, can you start a little ahead of where you normally would, or is that a dangerous thing to do?
No, we still have an installation, how we put things in, you know, day 1, day 2, day 3, so I think when you start out installing, you still, no matter how many guys you have back, you still always start over and start from scratch because it still comes down to, you know, being able to tackle and being able to block. That's still the most important thing, and to start right from the, you know, from the very get-go and know every last little detail, everything we're doing. So you still start from scratch, but I think it helps the more guys you have back. Once you get into the actual game planning, it helps everybody understanding what's going on.
How does it change? This is game week preparation as opposed to the first 3 weeks of training camp. What's different about this week that maybe, other than a scrimmage on a Saturday, that's different from what you guys were doing when you first got here and the weeks leading up to game week? You
have a definite routine that you go through on game week. So you know your Tuesday practice, exactly what you're going to do. We probably do a little bit more what we call crossover, where we go offense against defense, running the other team's stuff than just all scouts. We don't. So that part of it's not totally different. We only do scouts at the very end when it's team. The other periods earlier in practice, we do crossover and give each other a good look. But it's just you have definitely what you do on a Tuesday practice, on a Wednesday practice, and on a Thursday practice. So that's probably the biggest difference. We're in fall camp. It's kind of like Groundhog Day. You kind of just go at each other every single day and do the same thing day after day. You run more this week against scout teams and less against ones like you were doing earlier in camp? Well, what we do is the very end, when we call it team, we're going against scout teams. But earlier in practice, when we do like blitz pickup and when we're doing our run play action, our inside run, we call it crossover. So we do go good against good, but you know, our offense will be running Ohio's plays, and our defense is running our defense, and then we'll switch, and then the defense runs Ohio's defense, and we run our offense. So we want to get good, fast looks, so we really understand you don't want to just go against the scout team the whole time. So it's a little bit more how they practice in the NFL, which they call crossover. And then at the end, you want to get a lot of reps, so then you go scout team. Have you ever stolen somebody's play that you were putting in your offense to run against your defense? You say, I think that's good? Yeah, you do. Yeah, because you're running a lot, and you're like, that looks nice. And a lot of times, if their offense runs it well, it's probably good against their own defense in practice. Paul Petrino joining us here as we continue with more. I want to remind you, at U.S. Bank, we team together to support our customers and our communities. Stop by your local U.S. Bank branch today, equal housing lender, member FDIC. We'll continue with more. Head coach Paul Petrino, the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino radio show, live from D. Willie's in downtown Moscow. You're listening to the Idaho Vandal Radio Network.
The Vandal store has something for every Vandal in your family this fall. Stay warm in Vandal style. We've got Vandal jackets, hoodies, and hats. We are your store. The Vandal store, where your purchases support University of Idaho students. On campus, on Idaho Street in downtown Boise, and at vandalstore.com.
Red 29.
Come on down to
to D. Willie's in downtown Moscow for the U of I Vandal Coaches Show. Monday the 31st at 6 p.m., you can meet the players, coaches, and get the Vandals started off right this season. With drink specials and giveaways, you'll be grinning like a possum eating a sweet tater. So get on down to D. Willie's in downtown Moscow for a fresh burger, barbecue, or cold brew. It's always a touchdown when you rush to D. Willie's. It's where you'll feel the love and the cooking, just like home.
We bought a house.
We found the one.
Here to stay.
Permanent.
Rooted.
Residence.
Relocated. I've been relocated.
In a short-term world, trust your home mortgage to a long-term bank. U.S. Bank offers the rates and products that fit your life. Visit a branch, usbank.com/mortgage, or call 855-434-HOME to talk to an experienced mortgage loan originator today. Mortgage loans subject to credit approval. Interest rates and program terms are subject to change. Deposit and mortgage products are offered by U.S. Bank, National Association, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Alex McGregor, the McGregor Company. When I think of our company slogan, dedicated people who care, I think of the service staff at our branches and their dedication to serve our customers and take care of their needs on the farm. Our highly trained staff is made up of long-term employees who live and work in rural communities, helping farmers grow the crops that feed people around the world. I'm proud to say these men and women at the McGregor Company are truly dedicated people who care about farm families, the environment, local communities.
Consider the cup holder. There's probably one feeling empty next to you right now. No refreshing Pepsi and no hope. Look at it. Really, really look. Are you looking? Just look at it, won't you? All across the country, cup holders just like yours are being abused, deprived of Pepsi, forgotten. Instead of a refreshing Pepsi, some of them are being filled with loose change or crumbled up drive-through receipts, or is that a wad of used chewing gum? Clean your car. But what if you could help? Both of you, or all of you. There's really no way for me to know how many of you are in your car. I hope there's not 10 of you. That would be really unsafe. Get a Pepsi and refresh a cup holder's life. Our cup holders and our thirsts are counting on it. In fact, I'm having a refreshing Pepsi right now. That is refreshing. Pepsi, refresh yourself. Refill your cup holder.
Vandals are one of a kind. Show your Vandal pride wherever you are. Get your gear on, Idaho. We have the best selection for every Vandal in your tribe. The Vandal Store, where your purchases support University of Idaho students. Easy to shop locations on campus, on Idaho Street in downtown Boise, and at vandalstore.com.
Welcome back to the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino Radio Show, live from D. Willie's in downtown Moscow here on the Idaho Vandal Radio Network. Dennis Patch and Paul Petrino with you here tonight. D. Willie's in downtown Moscow. Stop by and enjoy the best burgers in town, hearty breakfasts, lunch, dinners. Don't forget a great selection of beers on tap. D. Willie's is the home of the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino Radio Show. Normally, we are here on a Wednesday, but since, well, you heard the whole explanation, we're all messed up on our days, so that's why we're here tonight. Thanks for being with us. Don't forget, our coverage starts at 5 Pacific, 6 o'clock Mountain Time on Thursday, live from the Dome. Kickoff 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific, as Idaho will take on Ohio. When you look at Ohio, I listened to Frank Solich today in his media call, and he talked about his 3 linebackers and some of his defensive guys, and he plays 2 quarterbacks. When you look at Ohio, what's the strength of their team, Paul?
It's their defense. No question, their defense. They held people to, not a whole lot of points last year, and when their offense did score, their defense set up the scores with turnovers. Almost every game you watch, when the other team scored, or when Ohio did score, it was because their defense was getting turnovers, and it probably all starts with number 51. I'm used to just saying numbers, the guy watching him on film all the time, but he's an outside linebacker, does a great job of reading, run and pass. He gets in there and makes a lot of tackles. He gets underneath passes, tips the ball, causes interceptions. 32 is their middle linebacker. That's the guy that, had 3 interceptions against us last year. He just reads the quarterback's eyes, does a good job of playing the ball. 93 is their defensive end that plays to the field. He really comes off the edge, has good quickness, and does a good job of rushing the quarterback. And then 33 is their other linebacker, and 41 is their best corner. So those are their 5 best players on defense, and they do a good job. And, they run their scheme. They know what they're doing. And you just got to go out and out-execute them, and I'm looking forward to doing that. I think our guys really understand it, and we made some big plays on them last year. We just turned the ball over too much, and we just got to do a great job of moving the football and not turning it over. And then offensively, they're about running the football. That's their number one thing they're going to do is try to run it. They got a big running back.
Who was a freshman last year,
Yeah,
A.J. Willett.
Yeah, he had a good game against us, and we need to make sure that doesn't happen again. But he's a big physical kid that, runs downhill and plays hard. I think their offensive line is well coached and does a good job of run blocking. We need to try to stop the run. I mean, that's the bottom line. We got to stop the run and make them throw it. And then their two quarterbacks kind of like to look at, number one and number two in their progression, and then they like to take off and run. Both of them do. So we got to do a good job of containing their quarterbacks when they scramble, making sure we're staying on the guys that we have, and then getting after their quarterbacks and hitting them as much as possible.
There are three linebackers, Quentin Poling, Javon Johnson, and Blair Brown are their three leading tacklers from a year ago, and that tells you something that they're sideline-to-sideline guys. When you get guys like that in those positions, how do you have what can you do to have success against a very active and a very skilled linebacking corps?
No, you got to block them. You got to get up. You got to make sure that you move the front and in your combination blocks that one guy gets off and gets up to him. And 51, it's kind of amazing. Not many receivers tried to go block him and get after him, and we need to do a good job of doing that. And then you got to keep them honest with play action pass and make sure that they have to play both the pass and the run.
All right, let's talk about when a team has two quarterbacks. Now, these are similar type guys. They don't do much different. It's not like if you got a running quarterback and a passing quarterback. So do you really have to prepare differently for two quarterbacks when they're like these two guys? Because if you look at their numbers last year, they're almost identical in passing and rushing yards.
Yeah, a lot of times it's real hard because one guy's usually a true runner and one guy's a thrower. But these two are, very similar players. There was games where both of them played well and helped their team win. And they're pretty close because they're still going to play them both, and they don't necessarily have a starter. So we just got to go out there and really play our plan and what our game plan is, and again, stop the run and contain whatever one of them's in there and not give up the deep ball. They're going to throw the ball down the field. They're going to run it, and then they like to throw deep.
When a coach plays two quarterbacks, how does that work in your mind if you have to play two quarterbacks when you had to do that in the past? Is it a situation where you really haven't decided on one guy, or is it a situation like Frank Solich is trying to do, I guess I got to just play both these guys until one guy jumps up, right?
When I've had to do it, it's been in two different situations. One time we weren't really sure. One guy was not really way better than the other, so you'd rather have one step up.
Right.
Another time we did it, we had a senior that was really good. He was the number one passing efficiency quarterback in the country. But then we had a freshman that we knew was going to be really good. So we played them both just to make sure we got the freshman to come along and get a lot of experience. And they were both good players, and they were a little bit different. That was when we were at Louisville with Stephon LaFleurs and Brian Brom. And so that situation was really went well because they were both good players, and they had a lot of good players around them. But you'd probably rather just have one guy. But if you got two good guys anymore in college football, you need two good guys because a lot of times, one of them's going to get dinged up, so it's probably not all bad to have two of them ready to play.
We talked about earlier in the beginning of the show about a young man. You mentioned Jace Malik, and he'll be out for the coin toss. And I've seen him at practice a couple times this week, and he's on campus here. And he's a young man from Spokane out of West Valley High School who had cancer, had to have his leg taken away, but he is still part of your football team. Tell us a little bit about Jace Malik, what you saw in him as a football player, and how this transitioned into what you guys have done with him.
Jace was an outstanding football player. He was really what you love as a football player. He just had a great passion for the game. He loved to play it. He loved to practice it. Just flew around and was very physical, got after people. We thought he was going to come in here and play fullback for us, actually. And he's just an outstanding football player. And then, he unfortunately, got cancer, but he's as great a kid to have around, because he's always upbeat. He's always smiling. It's pretty hard for anyone to look at him and think that you got life tough. Any of the problems that any of us have, I would say Jace, you just look at him and know, what? If Jace can be that positive and that upbeat, then we all better be.
You did an interesting thing. Now, if people don't know, if somebody gets hurt and can't continue to play, they can stay on scholarship. It doesn't count against your number. But a lot of times you never see those guys around the program. Every practice I've been to, I think I've been to 4 or 5 already. I saw him today. Every time I go in, he's always there, and guys are always around him. What did you see in this young man to say, you know what, we're going to do more than just honor your scholarship. We're going to keep you around the program?
He was just part of our family. He already was when he was still at West Valley. He came down to every single home game. He was always around. He wants to be a coach. You know, I grew up wanting to be a coach my whole life, so it's awesome to have him around. You know, Coach Sinkovich, myself, Coach Erickson, everybody's always – he comes into the different meetings. He sits in with the O-line. He sits in with the quarterbacks. He sits in with the running backs, and he's actually learning football, and he wants to learn football. And you know, he's just a special young man that's going to grow up to be a great man, you know, and be successful whatever he does. I have no doubt in my mind.
He will be part of the coin toss, as Paul said. The other thing that you mentioned is Mark Vaught, a guy who was on your staff a year ago. We lost Mark in November. Tell us what you guys are doing to honor him and what you've created, and a little bit about what's going to happen in the game on Saturday. Or you already got me convinced.
Right,
on Saturday.
On
Thursday.
Yeah, we started a foundation for Mark, and we raised money, and people put it in his name. So we'll have a scholarship in the Mark Vaught's name forever, you know, and we'll give out that award, you know, at halftime. His wife Bailey will be there, and she'll give it out to the young man on our football team that received it this year. But you know, Mark was as good a person as you'll ever meet, and miss him all the time. And you know, it'd just be great to have Bailey around, and it's just, you know, anything that we can do to help raise awareness for cancer and hopefully save somebody, then definitely it's worth it.
Well, you never know, do you? I mean, you know, Jace Malik had the world by the tail, and Mark Vaught is gone way too soon. You just never know what that deadly disease is going to do to you.
No, you don't. That's why we better all live life as hard as we can and to the fullest every single day.
All right, we'll continue with more. I don't know if those guys have flipped a coin yet to see who's going on first. I'm not sure if it's age before beauty, offense before defense. Either Quentin, who's going first?
It might be what everyone has the most degrees.
Quentin,
I think they both have 2 of them right now.
Quentin basically raised his hand when I said beauty before age, so he might win that too. So who's going first? Do we know? Quentin, you're going to go? All right, Quentin Bradley will be joining us next. We'll talk a little Vandal defense. Want to remind you, Coulter Creek Winery is located on Main Street in Julietta, Idaho. You can't miss it there. Enjoy locally produced wines, delicious food, and regional microbrews. Stop in today. Visit online at coulterscreek.com. That's coulterscreek.com. It is the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino radio show live at D. Willie's in downtown Moscow here on the Idaho Vandal Radio Network.
Oh, hi. Right now, I'm getting a remarkably heartfelt bear hug from Smokey Bear. Thanks, big guy. Now, if you could let me down. See, I made sure there were no low-hanging branches when I set up my campfire. And before we left, I drowned out my campfire, stirred it, drowned it out again, then made sure it was cold. Visit SmokeyBear.com to learn tips to prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'm John, a volunteer at United Way. I'm here at Lincoln Elementary School to find out what this place needs. Who knows better about what kids need than kids, right? Let's ask them.
Monsters! Lasers! A pool! Another guinea pig! More lasers! Sprinkles!
I was thinking more spinach at lunchtime and maybe more exercise.
Nah. Lasers are cool.
When it comes to creating healthier communities, what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to UnitedWay.org, because great things happen when we live united. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
I'm a volunteer at United Way. I'm asking people around the neighborhood what they think this place needs.
Wi-Fi everywhere.
More playgrounds.
Oh, more ice cream trucks.
I was thinking more money in the pockets of local families come tax time.
Can I change my answer?
I was just kidding about the ice cream.
When it comes to getting better tax refunds into the hands of local families, what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to UnitedWay.org, because great things happen when we live united. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids. Healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college, which ends up making the future better for all of us. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
My name is Ruth Rusi, and this is how I live United. I read to children as part of United Way's education program. It helps them create links between language and literacy and prepares them for a better academic future. I figure I have the time and they have the need. My name is Ruth Rusi. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino Radio Show, live from D. Willie's in downtown Moscow. Dennis Patchin joining you, the new voice of the Idaho Vandals, and we'll be talking with Quentin Bradley in just a second. I want to remind you, tonight's show is brought to you in part by Bud Light, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Are you up for whatever? Quentin Bradley joining us. How are you?
Hello. Good.
Good, good. Let's talk a little bit about this season. It's your last year. You're a 3-year letterman. You've been through this before. Do you feel any different?
I feel old.
Well, that happens. That happens to you. Trust me.
Yes. You
don't have any gray hair yet. You can't feel that old.
Nah, not yet. But, it's our senior year. Me, Dallas, and a couple other of us on the team, we're just ready to win. It's been 5 years for me and 6 for others. I mean, it's time.
Yeah. It does it sneak up on you? Does it seem like it's been that long? Is it gone by fast?
It's pretty slow.
Is it?
I mean, I miss Moscow. It's my last year. I've been here for 5, and I don't know. It just seems like I've been here forever.
What do you do, not practice-wise, but what do you do when November ends to get yourself ready for a season?
Get right back in the weight room.
Do you give yourself any time off?
No. I mean, the moment you come off. I guess after your season ends.
Yeah.
You think about, well, maybe I should take a day or 2 days, but the more you procrastinate, you're gonna want to just take another week, another 2 weeks, another 3 weeks. So it's better for you to just get right back in there, so you stay in shape throughout the whole year, instead of just taking weeks off.
As you prepare throughout the season, throughout the off season, because there is, and that's not a misnomer because there really isn't an off season anymore. Yeah. Is there something that you take the games out of it? Is there something you absolutely love?
I love the physicality. I mean, if you play football, you gotta love that. You gotta love contact. You get out there, get to hit somebody every day. I mean, you can take all your problems out on somebody else every day. I mean, you gotta love that. I mean, it's the most violent sport to me that I've seen, and I love to play it.
You can't see, but those of you who can say there was a big smile on his face while he was saying you got to get to hit somebody every day.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Is there something you absolutely hate in preparing? Is there something you just, when your football is over, whenever that is, you're going to say, man, I'm glad I don't have to do that again? Is there anything?
Gassers.
Oh, okay.
Redskins.
Yeah.
I hate
gassers. Running, dropping, running, dropping.
Up, downs, rolling across the field. I hate that. I hate it.
Okay. We got you down for that.
I hate it.
What are you studying here at the university? Where are you? Just kind of give us an idea of what the academic Quentin Bradley is.
When I first got here, just a mix of classes. I didn't know what I wanted to do. When I first got here, I wanted to be a computer engineer. You know, my schedule didn't fit right with that, so I changed to business. You know, I got scared of accounting, so kind of got out of that. And, you know, I started doing a lot of nonprofit organization things, which ended up being my major, organizational science, my first degree, with a minor in communications. And now I'm on my second degree, psychology. I say I take one class this semester, and then I get that degree too.
So you're going to walk out of here with 4 years of football played and 2 degrees.
Yeah. It's pretty easy when you know, if you take about, like, I'd say 19 credits a semester, it's pretty easy to get 2 degrees. It's not hard.
Wait a second. If you take 19 credits a semester,
yeah.
Do you know how many people take 19 credits a semester? Not many.
I don't know why. I mean, it's best to get it out the way, I guess.
All right, so we know what you got your degree in. So when football is over, and whenever that might be, if it's over at the end of this season, if it's over in 10 years, 15 years, you play a long time in the National Football League, what do you want to do?
If football didn't work out, I mean, I think I'd get my master's in psychology, take that further, or just work on my hands, you know, learn how to build things, houses, plumbing, whatever. I just want to work with my hands, if not.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Tell me about Ohio. What scares you about their offense?
Well,
let me rephrase that. Looking at you, nothing would scare you, okay? Nah. So the size that you are and your ability. So what concerns you about Ohio?
Just everybody doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, last year, I believe the only reason we lost that game is because we weren't where we were supposed to be at. You know, we wasn't gap sound. You know, you look at the film.
Tell me what gap sound means for those who don't know.
Oh, like, say if I had to stunt into the B gap, people weren't there, you know, and the running back would find that hole and gash us. You know, stopping the run is very important this year, and our defense is really predicated on that this year. So I think we do our job there, stop the big passes, we'll be golden.
Is it easier for you to play somebody you've already played before?
Of course, because you know everybody's on the roster. I mean, they barely had anybody leave. I mean, I see the same old line. I don't find any threat in that. So, I mean, I'm just tired of hitting our old line. I'm just ready to go against somebody else.
That happens, doesn't it? At this point in time, it's coaches say we want to practice some more. Players say no, let's play somebody. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of hitting that guy across from me.
Yeah, you get tired of seeing the same color jersey. So it's time to actually unleash everything out on somebody you do not know. So yeah.
What's your goal? What do you want to do this year in this football season? You got 12, maybe 13 games left. What does Quentin Bradley want to do?
I want to lead the nation in sack, but first I want to start with the Sun Belt. You know, last year I can count every sack I missed. You know, I only got 6. I could have had about 10. So I'm trying to, correct myself and get all my things aligned so that I'm able to perform out there on the field.
Well, hopefully you don't miss any this year. Your miss number is 0. How about that? You good with that?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, good to meet you. Good to see you. We'll see you on the field on Thursday. I know Paul's got this Saturday. Do you understand this coach's Saturday? They changed the days in the middle of the week. Do you understand that stuff? No. I saw a grease board outside one of the locker rooms going to the field that had 3 days, 2.5 days, 2 days.
2.5 days.
Yeah.
I don't know. Half a day. I don't know.
You'll be ready Thursday.
I'm ready. I'm ready now.
Okay. Well, good. That's good to know. Thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. That is Quentin Bradley joining us here, the defensive lineman, and he should have a heck of a game on Thursday night. Want to remind you, the Coach's Show is brought to you in part by U.S. Bank. We team together to support our customers and our communities. Stop by your local U.S. Bank branch today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. When we come back, another senior who's been here a while. We're going to talk about Dallas Sandberg, both on and off the field. When we come back, you're listening to the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino Radio Show, live from D. Willie's in downtown Moscow here on the Idaho Vandal Radio Network.
U.S. Bank business specialists provide custom solutions for every stage of your business. We're here to help your business grow, from just getting off the ground to maturity. With more than 3,000 branches, we're here to guide you every step of the way. To get started, visit your local U.S. Bank branch or usbank.com/business. Credit products are subject to normal credit approval and program guidelines. Some restrictions and fees may apply. See your banker for details. Deposit products offered by U.S. Bank National Association, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Red 29!
Come on down
down to D. Willie's in downtown Moscow for the U of I Vandal Coaches Show. Monday the 31st at 6 p.m., you can meet the players, coaches, and get the Vandals started off right this season. With drink specials and giveaways, you'll be grinning like a possum eating a sweet tater. So get on down to D. Willie's in downtown Moscow for a fresh burger, barbecue, or cold brew. It's always a touchdown when you rush to D. Willie's. It's where you'll feel the love and the cooking, just like home.
The Learfield Sports Directors Cup honors the nation's best overall collegiate athletic program in each division, men's and women's sports. The prestigious award continues its reign as the crowning achievement in college athletics, noting the remarkable efforts of student athletes and their institutions. To follow your favorite team, like us on Facebook. Find us in USA Today, online, and on Twitter at LS Directors Cup. Over 2 decades of excellence, the Learfield Sports Directors Cup.
Dear University of Idaho, I didn't fully
understand you when I was there. Now I do.
As proud alumni, it's perfectly clear. You taught me
how to be me, how to forge a successful career, a career where
every day I think of you, because everywhere I look,
I see Vandals doing amazing things.
After all this time, after all these years,
you are greater than ever.
I thank you.
Consider the cup holder. There's probably one feeling empty next to you right now. No refreshing Pepsi and no hope. Look at it. Really, really look. Are you looking? Just look at it, won't you? All across the country, cup holders just like yours are being abused, deprived of Pepsi, forgotten. Instead of a refreshing Pepsi, some of them are being filled with loose change or crumbled up drive-through receipts, or is that a wad of used chewing gum? Clean your car. But what if you could help? Both of you, or all of you. There's really no way for me to know how many of you are in your car. I hope there's not 10 of you. That would be really unsafe. Get a Pepsi and refresh a cup holder's life. Our cup holders and our thirsts are counting on it. In fact, I'm having a refreshing Pepsi right now. That is refreshing. Pepsi, refresh yourself. Refill your cup holder.
Welcome back to the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino radio show, live from D. Willie's in downtown Moscow. The head coach will be joining us coming up in the final segment of the show. Want to remind you that we're here at D. Willie's, and we always have room for you here during the coach's show or any other time. D. Willie's is in downtown Moscow. Stop by and enjoy the best burgers in town, hearty breakfasts, lunches, dinners, and don't forget a great selection of beers on tap. That's D. Willie's. It's the home of the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino radio show, and we're with you every Wednesday night right here, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock Mountain Time on the Idaho Vandal Radio Network. Dallas Sandberg joining us, another 3-year letterman, another senior. Thanks for being here. How are you?
Thank you. Good.
I'm going to ask you a lot of the same questions so we can get to know you, but do you feel different senior year? I mean, this is, you know, you've gone through your last spring football. You've gone through your last camp. You're going to play your last home opener. I mean, do guys ever think about that, or is that just guys like us thinking about that?
It's definitely crossed my mind this year. I feel a lot more confident going into the year. I mean, I've had 5 spring balls now. It's my 5th fall camp. I feel like I can do and get everything done on the field. I'm a lot more confident this year.
How about you and confidence in the guys around you? Is this team better? Do you see growth from a year ago, from 2 years ago?
Yeah, definitely. Without a doubt, hands down, we do.
What do you see? What makes you think it's different?
We're just more ordinary group of guys up front. I think we're just a tougher group. Steve in the middle, I love playing with him. We're attached to the hip with our double teams, and we're getting the ball moving, and I think we're going to be able to run the ball really well this year.
Is that what it takes, just a little bit more nastiness up front?
Yeah, it really does.
I'm looking at guys and bodies and sizes. There's a lot of experience on both offensive and defensive lines. So when you have guys in the trenches with experience, what does that allow you to do?
It just gives you, like I said, more confidence. I mean, we got, I don't know how many starts between the 5 of us going to be starting this week. And we just know what we're doing. I know what the guy next to me is doing, and I can trust them to get their job done while I get my job done.
It's interesting how you guys have gotten better at the same time the defensive line has gotten better. That tells me that you're helping them and they're helping you, because if you look at this football team, there's a lot of strength on this football team in the offensive and defensive lines.
Definitely. I mean, I think the D-line is going to be the best in the Sun Belt this year. And going up against them every day, that just helps us grow and makes us a better offensive line.
You tired of practicing against those guys? You
Yeah.
want to play somebody else? Really?
Yeah. Twainy, I go up against him the most, and we've been able to evolve to each other. He knows what I'm going to do, and I know what he's going to do. So it actually helps us, because I'll go up against him, and he'll change something and be like, oh, so you got a new move, and then I'll change something, and we're constantly evolving with each other.
Makes everybody better, doesn't it?
Definitely.
As you prepare for Ohio, and I asked Coach this, you got 3 really good linebackers on that team. How do you have success against a defense that's got guys that the top 3 tacklers from a year ago, sideline to sideline guys? How do you have success against guys that are that good in that position?
I don't think they can do anything when we push the D-line back into their laps. And if we push the D-line back 4 or 5 yards and we get a 4 or 5 yard carry every time, we'll be pretty happy with that. And, yeah, they're very sound on defense, but we're going to be even more sound on offense and get our jobs done that way.
You grew up in Arizona, so when people see you grew up in Arizona, I'm sure the first question is how do you live there in the summertime when it's so hot? But you grew up in a part of Arizona that's not that hot, right?
Correct.
And tell us a little bit about Prescott, Arizona, or what?
It's the Prescott area. I'm from Prescott Valley, actually. And we're 5,200 feet, so we get a lot of snow, a lot of weather. It really doesn't get that hot in the summers. I love it back there. It's pretty similar weather to here.
A little more snow there than we've had here?
Definitely, yep.
I'm sure your parents have not let you forget about that, huh?
Nope, they haven't.
What's your area of study? And are you like Quentin, the man of multiple degrees here?
I am. I'm actually working on my 3rd degree in political science right now. My first one's in criminal justice. Second one is psychology.
Okay. So what do you want to do with those 3 degrees when football's done?
Eventually, I'd like to coach, and I'd really like to work with juveniles, and I'd like to come up with some programs to help implement football and just the life qualities we've learned here with juveniles and help them make goals and whatnot, and just help them along that path.
Are you like Quentin? Are you a 19 credit guy semester?
No, I've been here a little bit longer, so I've been able to take more school throughout my years.
But I mean, when you have your degree, you really don't have to keep going to school. You can take a class here, a class there. Why? That's interesting. Why continue?
It's free. You might as well take advantage of it. I think it's just throwing away money if you don't.
Okay. So, how did you decide to be what you wanted to be? Where was the path driven that led you to your degrees that you have and where you want to go?
My 6th grade football coach was our school resource officer, and he coached football as well and helped a lot of kids. And he kind of got me on the path to play football. He really got me interested in that, and he kind of motivated me through that as well.
So it was kind of something you knew that's what you wanted to do when you got here to the University of Idaho?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what has your football experience been like? What are you going to remember at the University of Idaho when you sit down and you tell your grandkids about where you went to college and how much football you played? What's the story you're going to tell first?
My brothers. I've had a lot of brothers come through here, and my actual brother too, who played here, and just all the relationships that I've made even throughout the town. I umpire softball during the summers, and like there, all we do, I barely umpire. I talk football most of the time, and just the community and the relationships you build here are awesome.
Okay, I'm looking at the master sheet here. 6'5", 305. Is that pretty accurate?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm guessing at softball nobody argues with you when you're umpiring?
Not really. I don't get too many complaints.
Do you get any? I wouldn't think you get any.
A couple, and then they turn around and see who I am, and then they're kind of shut their mouth and go back to the dugout.
How did you get into that?
My dad's done it for like 30 years now, and I've actually been doing it for about 10 years now. I did football before I came up here. Obviously, I don't have time to do football here. And when I gray shirted, I got involved with the local group and did some football games up here, and just really my dad back home.
If coaching doesn't work out, is the officiating? Do you think you might do a high school game or two or something along those lines?
I miss that probably the most, just being on the field with my dad on Friday nights.
Is your dad still working as an official?
Not right now. He's actually working up in North Dakota, so he doesn't have a whole lot of time to get back and do high school games much.
Is your dad a good official?
Yeah.
You don't have. He's not listening to the show. You don't have to. You can.
He's a great official.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Dallas, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much. Good to get to know you, and we'll see you on Thursday, or as Coach says, Saturday. I'm still trying to figure that whole thing out. So.
It's another day of football.
I know, it is. Okay, the grease board. What's the grease board saying? 1 day to go or 2 days to go now? So it was 2.5 today when I went through there. It was 3 in the morning. Then it was 2.5. So it'll be 2 tomorrow. All right.
Gotcha.
Thanks for stopping by. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
All right, that is Dallas Sandberg joining us, one of the senior offensive linemen on this year's team. Want to remind you that Coulter's Creek Winery is located on Main Street in Julietta, Idaho. You can't miss it. Enjoy locally produced wines, delicious food, and regional microbrews. Stop in today. Visit online at coulterscreek.com. Paul Petrino will rejoin us, so we'll talk a little bit more on the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino Radio Show live from D. Willie's in downtown Moscow here on the Idaho Vandal Radio Network.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
You're struggling with your mortgage. You think about it all the time.
What are we going to do if we lose the house?
It's time to stop thinking and start dialing. Call 1-888-995-HOPE for a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. We've helped over 1 million homeowners, and we want to help you. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got a lot of food in this country. We've got so much food that we can't eat it all. So how are 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger? That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids who need it. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino Radio Show, live from downtown Moscow at D. Willie's. Tonight's show is brought to you in part by Bud Light, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Are you up for whatever? And by our title sponsor, U.S. Bank, teaming together to support our customers and local communities. Stop by your local U.S. Bank branch today, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Live again at D. Willie's, and great lunches, great dinners, breakfast. Don't forget. Also, largest, great selection of beers on tap, and some of the nicest people you're going to meet I was in here on Saturday trying to figure stuff out. I was in here today trying to figure stuff out. So great crew here at D. Willie's, and we're happy to be here all season long. And we'll be back with you for the next Coaches Show on Wednesday night, our normal night, so a week, 9 days from now. We'll talk about the first game of the season with head coach Paul Petrino, and we'll also talk about the upcoming game with USC. I feel bad. You got 3 degrees, you got 2 degrees, you got athletic director who's got his doctorate degree. I feel inadequate here tonight.
Yeah, I don't bring that stuff up much. Talk about coaching.
Are you, with guys taking 19 credits, are you practicing enough? I mean, what's going on over there?
Yeah, they have a lot of free time, I guess. But that's one thing. We have some great young men that do a great job in school, and that's something that everybody needs to be proud of. And there's a whole bunch of them that are going to be so successful in life, and that's what you get into coaching for. You really get into it to see guys come in at 18 years old and leave at 22 and become men and be successful in life, and hopefully teach them everything you can to help them be successful. And there's no doubt in my mind these 2 guys right here will be successful.
I know that when your team is successful on the field, that gives you great satisfaction. But I don't think I've ever asked you this question. I've known you a long time when you were an assistant here many years ago. But when you see your guys graduate and you see the guy get the degree or you see the picture of a guy in his cap and gown, what does that mean to you as a football coach?
That means a lot, because you go in their home and you sit in the home and you talk to the mom or the dad or both of them when you're recruiting them, and that's the first and number one goal, is that they do graduate. And then you see some guys that struggle for a while, but then they fight through it and they find a way. And what's even more satisfying is when you see them go on and be successful, and you see their children be successful, and that's something that with this day and age with, Facebook and everything, you're friends with a lot of your former players, and you see one of your former players' sons going to West Point, or you see, one of the guys I coached, position coach, was Allen, and you see how successful his son is doing, and just different things like that. You see those young men grow up and become successful, and then, what better statement that you're successful than to be a good parent and see their kids become successful.
Let's talk about what you have left to do this week. I know that when we most of the hay, as they say, because I drove through a bunch of fields today, is in the barn. You still have a couple of days to prepare. What's left on the agenda for your team as you get ready to play this game on Thursday night?
We have a lot left. That's one statement that me and my brother learned from our father, that the hay's never in the barn. That's a statement he never liked to say. So tomorrow, when we get back tonight, I'll watch today's practice. Then we'll finish up. We still got a couple of things game plan-wise to do. Then we'll start preparing for practice tomorrow. Tomorrow's what we call Perfect Thursday. It's a real situational practice. You go through everything, from as if you're driving the ball down the field, what you're going to call in the critical zone, all the way down to the goal line, to your 2-point plays. Then you turn it around, what you're going to call in the -1 if it's a pass, -1 if it's a run, 2nd and 8 from the -3, 3rd and 6 from the -5. Then you run back down this way and you do all your third downs, third 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10. And then you run your opening script. Then you do some 2-minute against each other. Then we come back on Friday and then have a walkthrough that, again, is a very important script and we call it a walkthrough, but it's a pretty fast-paced, intense. That's a walkthrough that you cover every last thing that you've already went over that week. Then you have meetings Friday night where you meet as a whole team, then as an offense, defense, special teams, go through everything again. Then you'd wake up on Saturday, which will be Thursday, and then you.
I got it now. Finally,
okay,
it took me an hour. Yeah.
Okay. Then you have a walkthrough that you do that day, and that's another 45-play walkthrough of all situations and stuff you've already done. You take it off all the scripts that you've already went through, and really right up till game time, you're still going over everything. We have a drill that we call a clap drill right before, when we're on the road, before we get on the bus at home, before we take the field, and again, that's going through your opening script, your third down calls, your blitz pickup. So you're still always trying to get every last little detail down, and I feel like we've been working Ohio for a long time, so hopefully we'll have it down.
After tomorrow's practice, when there's still a lot of things to do but not really much time on the field, is that more to help the final tuning of the mental preparation of the game after Thursday's practice, Friday leading into Saturday's game?
Yeah, Friday and Saturday is all mental. After Thursday's practice, Thursday's a hard, fast, it's a shorter practice, but it's fast and intense and it's in no way an easy practice, but it's a shorter one. And then after that, it's all mental. And we just got to get everything so they can play with a clear mind. That's something I've been talking to them about all this fall is let's play with a clear mind. So let's understand what we're doing, understand what our assignments are, so we can go out there and play on instinct because we don't have to worry and think about anything. Our mind's clear and we just play.
Well, and that's why you have spring football. That's why you practice every week. That's why you have 25, 30 days of camp. Is so guys really, and this it sounds crazy, but you don't want your guys thinking. You just want your guys playing.
No question. That's exactly why. Yep.
And it's almost like a military situation where you train, and when it comes time for the event, we're not thinking anymore. We're just doing.
Exactly. And that's why every single day in practice is, effort habit. How you do it in practice is how you're going to do it in the game.
All right. Is there a key to this game on Thursday night? I mean,
no question.
You know what Ohio has. You know what you have. It's the first game of the year. What are you thinking when you drive home at night, when you're laying in bed, the key to this game is?
Number one is turnovers. We can't turn the ball over. That's how they score most of their points is getting turnovers. So we got to take care of the football. Number two, Quentin mentioned earlier, we got to stop the run. So we got to take care of the ball offensively. We got to stop the run on defense. And then we just got to gut it out in the fourth quarter, and then hopefully make more big plays than they do. That's probably how about every game's won. Turnovers and big plays, and we got to make sure we win both of those battles.
And you'd like to see a full house on Thursday night?
That would be awesome. We need everybody to come out. It's going to be a fun night. It's our players are excited. What better thing to do on a Thursday night than go watch a football game? It's going to be two good football teams getting after it, and let's get that dome as loud as we can.
Yeah, and it's here. It's time. It's time.
It's time. Let's go.
It's time. The temperature dropped today. It felt more like fall today than it did summer, didn't it?
That's right. So it's time to do it.
All right. We appreciate the time. Thanks so much. We'll visit with you next week, and we'll talk to you after the game on Saturday.
All right. Thanks.
Or Thursday. I got that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. That's Paul Petrino, head coach of the Idaho Vandals. We want to remind you we're at D. Willie's, and we'll be here all year long for the Coaches Show. Our next show is on September 9th. If you can't join us here in Moscow, certainly you can join us on the Idaho Vandal Radio Network. Our coverage of the Coaches Show will start at 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific. Thursday night we'll be on the air. Pregame show 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Mountain. 1 hour pregame show with a kickoff to follow. Hopefully you can join us here in Moscow. If not, hopefully you can join us right here on the Idaho Vandal Radio Network. Thanks to the folks at D. Willie's. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks Paul Petrino and Dallas and Quentin. And we will see you on the air on Thursday night here on the Idaho Vandal Radio Network.
On the Vandal Sports Network, you've been listening to the U.S. Bank Paul Petrino Show, live from D. Willie's in downtown Moscow. U.S. Bank, we team together to support our customers and communities. Tonight's show has been presented by Bud Light and Watkins Distributing, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Are you up for whatever? The Vandal Store, your home for specially priced game day t-shirts. And by Coulter's Creek Winery. Visit coulterscreek.com. The preceding has been a presentation of the Vandal Sports Network, a property of Learfield Sports.